1 week after the snowstorm, it suddenly feels like spring. It was warm today, and that warmth will continue tomorrow. Jeff, overnight we could see some drizzle and fog.
Yeah, and some inland areas are actually seeing a little bit more of some slightly heavier precipitation. We're definitely going to have a damp overnight and then wet weather around significantly at times during the day tomorrow. Right now you can see there hasn't been anything significant here pretty much across the 7 cities. Earlier, if you were watching, we had an area that looked a lot like this that moved out of sort of east central North Carolina up into central Virginia. I pointed out how it was right near the I-95 corridor. That moved on to the north, left us with generally cloudy conditions, and then here comes this next batch. Visibilities right now, they are starting to drop in a few spots. You can see out here on the sort of edges of our viewing area right now down to 7 miles. But when I show you the currents, you're going to see why we do believe there's a pretty good chance later that we're going to see some more patchy dense fog. Here it is, temperature of 60, but a dew point of 59. 96% humidity. We were at 84, 86 earlier. Now we're at 96. Another half a degree or so, and we're going to be talking about, humidity levels approaching 100%. That wind out of the south-southeast coming over some of the areas and splotches still of snow is also going to give us a little bit of a heightened risk. In general, though, just some light precipitation, still some fog or some drizzle overnight into tomorrow. Take the umbrella during the morning just in case, but for the most part, we think it's a little bit later tomorrow that we're going to start to see some of these heavier bands forming, maybe even a couple of rumbles of thunder and some flashes of lightning as those temperatures warm up here before the lunch hour, or some people starting lunch hour if you go into work early, already mid-60s. Tomorrow around 70 for the high, and that's why we're talking that chance of a thunderstorm. But then it really cools off Friday night, Saturday into Sunday. I'll talk more about that coming up.
Right, as the snow melts and we can see the streets and sidewalks again, things are getting back to normal. But for some people, the snowstorm is still taking its toll as they wait for important deliveries. Robert Boyd has the story from Virginia Beach.
Well, a lot of people coming up empty as they check their mailboxes this week. The snowstorm presented a number of challenges for delivery services.
We understand maybe a day or two, but now it's been over 4 days and they just keep giving us the runaround.
Chris Adams says FedEx was supposed to deliver his new mattress and box spring by January 8th, but the snow got in the way. Now he's got no idea when they're coming.
We're really stressed. We've been up every day. They kept saying, oh, it'll be delivered next day and the next day. Wait for this hour. Like last night, we were possibly had a chance of getting last night, and they're like, oh no, we lied to you, pretty much.
FedEx issued this statement. Severe weather is causing service delays for some FedEx ground customers. We regret any inconvenience this may cause for those customers and are implementing contingencies that will restore service as quickly as conditions allow. Adams doesn't understand. The snow is nearly all melted outside his Virginia Beach apartment complex. So where are the delivery trucks?
Even the little cars can go in and out, no problem now. I mean, they shouldn't have any excuses to deliver it either tonight or tomorrow. I mean, we'll wait, but it should have been now.
The U.S. Postal Service also had to postpone some deliveries over the past week. They say some roads and sidewalks were just too dangerous for mail carriers, issuing this statement. Employees are not required to deliver to locations where safety issues, such as icy steps, snowpack paths, or icy overhangs, create unsafe conditions. As for Chris Adams, he said enough is enough. The storm is over. Let's get back to work.
For customer satisfaction, you got to get the packages to the people.
In Virginia Beach, Robert Boyd, 13 News Now.
It's finally back to school tomorrow for Virginia Beach public school students. They had their 6th snow day today after school officials checked out the roads early this morning and found some of them still covered in ice and snow. The superintendent changed his mind about a 2-hour delay and instead closed schools. We asked him what's the takeaway from the next storm.
I do think there's good conversation that we can probably have about establishing some snow routes and some other things that we might be able to try to do to learn from this and move forward.
Dr. Spence tells us school officials will meet tomorrow to come up with a makeup plan, but he thinks they will be able to avoid Saturday school. Police are investigating a murder after a man was found dead in a home near ODU on West 42nd Street. Investigators got to the home around 8 o'clock last night. The 58-year-old man was dead when officers arrived. Tonight, his roommate who found him talked to Janu Hur about the gruesome scene.
Norfolk police say they found that man's body in this house right here near ODU. Tonight, it's relatively quiet, but in the backyard, you can still see police tape from the investigation. Running on just about an hour of sleep, Najib Najjar is trying to remember the last time he saw his roommate.
I seen him on December 26th or something like that, around that estimated date.
Between Christmas and New Year's, Najjar figured his roommate was just visiting family. But on Wednesday night, after he got home from the ODU library, Najjar says the man's family came looking for him. Najjar checked the man's room once, but when the family insisted they check for themselves, Najjar followed. They opened the door, turned on the lights, and he says that's when they found the man, dead, underneath blankets. Najjar called police.
What really messed me up was when he curled up and there was like blood on the floor and I don't know, some type of, it was too difficult to know what kind of wound it was, if it was cut wounds or, because there was just so much blood on the actual wound itself.
Police say they responded just before 9 o'clock Wednesday night and the man was dead when they got there. Najjar says they don't know who killed their roommate, but he was recently receiving death threats and someone threw a concrete block through their window. A few weeks ago, he says someone even wrote 187 on their front door, the California State Penal Code for murder.
Every time I try to sleep, I would think about the way his body was curled up. I don't know, that's the worst part to me right now, other than the fact that, you know, his family members had to see that too.
In Norfolk, Janu Hur, 13 News Now.
Police have not released the victim's name because they are notifying the rest of the family. If you have any information about what happened, you should call the crime line. Tonight, Newport News police are also investigating a homicide. 2 people were shot just before 6:30 this evening. Officers found one victim dead inside an apartment. Police believe the man was in his 20s. The other victim, a boy, 15 years old, was shot in the leg. He is expected to recover. This happened on Tarrytown Court, just off Jefferson Avenue. Police do not have any suspect information. Now, a few hours after that, Newport News police say a 17-year-old boy was shot not far away on Harpersville Road. The teen was shot in the arm. No word on whether these 2 incidents are connected. Tonight, everyone is talking about President Trump's profane comment about immigrants. The remarks happened during a briefing on efforts to provide protections to young immigrants. ABC's Kenneth Moten has some of the reaction.
President Trump's shocking objection to the possible bipartisan agreement on the Dreamers.
No deal yet.
Well, it sounds like you have an agreement and he's not on board.
We have no agreement with the president.
Senator Lindsey Graham and other lawmakers at the White House Thursday morning to brief Trump. Sources tell ABC News when the president learned the plan would restore protections for immigrants from Haiti and several African countries. His response, why are we having all these people from expletive countries come here? The reaction from lawmakers, swift. Congressman Elijah Cummings calling the president's comments unforgivable and demeaning of the office of the presidency. Senator Richard Blumenthal on MSNBC.
This remark by the president of the United States smacks of blatant racism, the most odious and insidious racism masquerading poorly as immigration policy.
A major setback for talks to protect nearly 800,000 young immigrants brought to the U.S. as children from deportation. But lawmakers appear to be pushing ahead.
We have an agreement that the bipartisan group I'm talking about, the 6 of us working, that we're shopping among our colleagues now.
Earlier in the week, Trump said he would sign whatever lawmakers could agree to, but he has one firm condition. No deal without funding for his wall on the U.S.-Mexico border.
We need the wall. We have to have the wall for security purposes.
The White House did not deny the reports on the president's offensive comments, saying the president is fighting for permanent solutions to make the country stronger by welcoming immigrants who, quote, contribute, grow the economy, and assimilate. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
A big shocker for many people today. Walmart announced it is closing more than 60 Sam's Club stores across the country. One of them is on Tidewater Drive in Norfolk. Workers learned that the store will close on January 26th. A Walmart official says it is too soon to say how many jobs will be cut. Some employees will be rehired at other locations. The news comes the same day Walmart announced it will boost its starting salary to $11 an hour. Well, Norfolk Mayor Kenneth Alexander posted a statement online saying 140 Sam's Club employees will be affected by the closure in Norfolk. He's asking those employees to call Norfolk Works, saying they will get help from the city along with the Virginia Employment Commission. Council